Si yo te dijera que este templo que ves acá arriba no tiene absolutamente nada que ver con el templo de Salomón y que tiene un significado muchísimo más oscuro, ¿me creerías? Probablemente no. Por lo tanto, te lo voy a explicar una persona que tiene muchísima más credibilidad que yo. Estás a punto de escuchar al hermano Natanael, un ex miembro de la comunidad judía, quien actualmente forma parte de la Iglesia Cristiana Ortodoxa. Si hay alguien que conoce de primera línea las tradiciones y los trasfondos, es él. Vamos al video.
Outlined by the 13th century Jewish occult system known as the Kabbalah, as expounded in the Zohar and expanded upon by the 18th century Hasidic movement. You see, this so-called divine presence at the Wailing Wall is actually the Kabbalistic feminine emanation of their false god, the Shekinah. Watch closely how the rabbis thrust their pelvises and penises back and forth in a prescribed prayer movement called davening, in which the Jew copulates with the Shekinah in order to give birth to an erotic union with the Ein Sof, the Kabbalistic masculine emanation of their false god. Now watch this young Jewish boy who, instinctively knowing that davening is a lewd and embarrassing act, just can't bring himself to perform the thrusting of his pelvis. My friends, for Rand Paul and for so many other saps like McCain, Bush, Obama, Clinton, and Romney, to perform the rite of political passage at the Wailing Wall is nothing less than to shake hands with the devil. And if God doesn't dwell in temples made by human hands, as the Bible tells us, much less would he dwell in a Roman fortress. The hoax is on. Not only are our politicians selling their souls to the Jews at a Roman fortress named Fort Antonia, misnamed the Western Wall, they're participating in a lewd occult ritual where the so-called divine presence is actually Satan himself. Satan's seat is at the Wailing Wall, and our politicians, brought there by the Jews, are carrying him all the way back home to America. The Wailing Wall is actually the remains of a Roman fortress named Fort Antonia, built north of the actual temple site, where no protruding rock ever existed, but rather was built upon the Gihon Spring. The rock upon which the dome of the rock was built, adjoining the Western Wall, was actually the centerpiece around which Fort Antonia was built. There's nothing sacred about this rock or this wall. This is attested to by the eyewitness Jewish historian Josephus, who also wrote in his Jewish Wars that the Romans left nothing above or below ground of the Second Temple, so that one coming to Jerusalem thereafter would never believe a temple ever existed. According to Josephus, Titus, the Roman general who razed Jerusalem to the ground in 70 AD, allowed Fort Antonia to remain to house the 10th Legion, left to monitor Roman affairs in Jerusalem. And thus the prophecy of Christ, not one stone will be left upon another, was fulfilled. God will not be mocked. Let God be true, and the Jews liars.
Ahora les quiero preguntar, ¿a cuántas celebridades, mentes brillantes y líderes mundiales han visto ustedes ir para ese muro y hacer la reverencia eterna y llorar? ¿Por qué tanta insistencia del aparato judío en llevar a estas figuras para ese lugar y hacerlos cometer ese ritual de humillación en frente de todo el mundo? Para pensar, ¿no? Ya tienen la explicación.